Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 9. Hopefully, you all had a good break, a good spring break. And if you're listening to this podcast and getting ahead early while you're on your break, hopefully that'll help you to get ahead this week. So I am posting this week 9, a little bit earlier. I know this says week 8 here, just ignore that. It's week 9, and I'm posting it a little bit earlier because I know some people like to use spring break to get ahead, and that's totally fine. I want to give you the opportunity to do that. But if you're on break and you're actually resting or doing something fun, no worries either. It's all the same due dates for week 9 material. So this week we're covering chapter 8, which is development across the lifespan. And it's a lot of material in one chapter. Typically, what we see happen in the Department of Psychology, at least, is this area is broken up into 3 classes that you would take, 3 semester-long classes in our department. So development as an area covers child development, adolescent development, and then adult development and aging. So those are usually 3 separate classes, and we spend a lot of time, just in the childhood years, infancy and childhood, and then we spend a lot of time in adolescence, and then again, older population and aging and death. So you're getting a lot of material basically in one chapter. I've given you some hints as to some big names to pay attention to. And if we skip down here into the objectives, you're going to see some of those names. Basically, pretty much as we go through the chapter, we're going to be talking about a few different areas in which we develop. One being cognitive, our cognition, how it changes from birth on up, and that's largely the work of Piaget and Vygotsky. And then we look also at psychosocial development. How do we develop with regards to those around us and our peer relationships and parental relationships, and that's largely the work of Erikson. And then there's also the question of moral development, and that's the work of Kohlberg. So those are the 3 big names that you're going to see throughout this chapter. And so pretty much a lot of places in the chapter is going to bring up physical, cognitive, personality changes that might be happening at particular phases of development. What are the big milestones that are happening, say in infancy or in kindergarten or in adolescence. So those are the things you want to kind of be picking out and paying close attention to. Again, if you want to have this handy, this objectives list, and then you can kind of like fill in the blanks as you go, that would be a great idea to do. This week with the videos, everything's in episode 9, lifespan development, within my psych lab, and there's really some great videos, some good ones on early in utero development of the fetus, and then moving into milestones that babies reach in their language and motor skill development. Moving on into Piaget's cognitive development, you'll see how kids think about different constructs and problems differently depending upon how old they are. Some perception and sensation development of the senses and how that works in early infancy and early childhood. And then some really great videos on moral development. Some Kohlberg stuff is in there. So don't miss the videos this week. And again, I just wanted to reiterate, you should really be watching the videos embedded within the text as you're going. I wouldn't kind of like save them up for the end and then watch them all at the end. I would watch them as you go through the reading. So when you read, it tells you, okay, watch, this segment in episode 9, I would do it like that, because that's helping to reinforce the concepts as you're learning them, and it puts it in a frame of reference that is understandable, rather than if you're just watching them, all at the last minute. And you definitely want to be watching the videos before you're responding to the discussion questions. And I kind of noticed last week when I was reading through the discussions that it was very clear when students hadn't read parts of the chapter, or hadn't read parts of the Hawk reading, or were skimming through it, or didn't watch the videos. Because one, you're not making reference to the videos, or you're not making reference to the concepts. And two, people were posing questions that they shouldn't have had you read the material. So I just want to, put out a little flag of warning there. These discussions are worth roughly half your grade. And I just have been really noticing a lack of effort put into a lot of these discussion posts. Now, don't get me wrong, some of you are doing really great, and I comment on that. But especially on the last discussion that I was looking over with memory, there was just a lot missing. A lot of reference to concepts that weren't there. There was a lot of opportunity to tie in the material from the readings, and many people missed a lot of that and didn't really fully answer the questions. So as you're going through the discussion questions this week, just please keep in mind you're trying to tie in the readings to answering these questions. So you want to be going back into the Hawk reading about Kohlberg's study, and you want to pull that in. You want to be going back into the main textbook, the Cicerelli White textbook, and saying to yourself, all right, what concepts apply here to my understanding of morality? What does the text say? Is there anything else talked about in the chapter, maybe by Piaget, maybe by Erikson, in terms of cognitive development, that might make sense when we're talking about moral development? Because we're talking about a construct here being morality, but it's inextricably tied to our cognition or our social development. And so you can bring up some of those concepts. And I really want to see that happening. That shows me that you're integrating all that you're learning, and you're able to apply it to the questions that I'm posing here to you. So hopefully I see a lot of that happening. I'm looking forward to that happening in discussion this week for that. And I will be actually changing this. This says week 8. Everything got shifted due to spring break week. So this is actually week 9 discussion. And then this week you have a quiz. Quiz closes on Friday, 3/23. And that pretty much makes up the week. Again, if you have questions, I'll be in and out over spring break. I will be away. I will be out of town Monday through Wednesday. I will be checking email intermittently, but not super great because I'll be out with my family. So please email me, though, if you have questions, and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. And then obviously you still have time after spring break. If you're getting ahead, great. But if you're at the regular pace that you should be at, I'll be back. I'll be in full swing during week 9 as you're starting to work on some of this content. But again, email me if you have any questions, and otherwise, have a wonderful break, stay safe, and get some rest, and hopefully have a little bit of fun too. Thanks, everyone.